Hi, my name is Marsha Brogman. I'm with All City Real Estate. I'm here today with Shane Dixon with Prom Lending. He's going to teach us all about the home buying experience. Shane?
As they said, I'm Shane Dixon. I'm with Prom Lending here in Odessa. We do mortgages. We don't do like land and stuff like that. I can lead you that way. We are preferred lenders with a lot of the local builders, D.R. Horton, Silverleaf, Beat and Bow. We do a lot with the custom builders also. What we're going to kind of go over today is just your basic, what types of loans they are, and I will take questions if you have some that you don't know or you're just kind of wondering. I'm not going to go through this whole pamphlet, or we'll be here until like 4 o'clock this afternoon. Basically there's a few types of loans. You have your VA loan, your FHA loan, your conventional loan, jumbos, and then you have USDA. In this area, there's not a whole lot of USDA because it's a very rural area that you do those. The biggest difference in a lot of them is going to be your down payment. A VA loan is zero down. You do still have closing costs on top of that, but it is, and that is on page 4. VA loan is for veterans, and I will tell you, I love veterans. I'll do anything to help them. They're the reason we can do what we do. So VA loan is zero down. You do still have closing costs. You can get help from the seller on closing costs, and that's what your realtors help you with. Then you have the FHA loan, and what that is that's a government-backed loan. It's 3.5% down. Plus you have your closing costs on top of that. Conventional is normally 5% and up. Most people have a misconception that your conventional loan is 20% down. That's not true. You can do it with 5% down. There's just some differences. The FHA is a little easier to get qualified for. It's more for your first time home buyers, which is kind of why we're doing this. It's a little bit easier credit-wise to qualify for. At Prime Lending, we do 580 and above on FHA and VA, which are the government backed.
I have a question though about the conventional because you were just talking about the 5%.
Okay.
Didn't you tell me about a 3% or 2%?
So there are some programs that it's mainly for first-time home buyers. There are income requirements, but yes, you can do 3% down on a conventional.
Okay.
Again, conventional is harder to qualify for credit-wise. A lot of the people who are doing your FHA loans are the ones who have just started credit, trying to establish, and that's what it's for. Is
that the 3% though, or the 5%?
The 3.5.
Okay.
That's the FHA. So you have, and so most conventional, whenever you look at it, it's going to be 5%.
Okay.
If we can get you into the 3%, we'll look at that. There's like Home Possible and Home One and stuff like that is for the conventional. So we'll work through that. And what we'll do is we'll try to find the most attractive thing for what fits your needs. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you get into a home. Our number one goal, when it all comes down to it, is to get you into a home that you can afford and is reasonable for you. Okay. And the other thing is since we are a local lender, we're going to see you when we're at Market Street, see you when you're at Target. We want you in something. We want you to be happy, and we want it to be comfortable for you. So the FHA is 3.5% down plus your closing cost. Now, I said we do 580 and up. From 580 to 620, there are a few little requirements that go into that, such as reserves and stuff like that. So we will ask, hey, do you have money saved up? Do you have 401k? Try to figure out where the money's coming from. There are some down payment assistance programs. They're very limited right now, strictly because of the interest rates and where our status is there, but we do still have some of those. So kind of go through this packet. And so page 5 gives you the process, okay? And both of our realtors here will tell you that a pre-approval makes all the world of difference.
Yes,
so
definitely.
they want you to be pre-approved before you go look at houses, okay? So what we do is you contact the lender, we get the application, we verify all your income, assets, And whenever we give you a pre-approval, we'll tell you, hey, you're approved for this amount. And we give you like what it's gonna cost you up front. I have what's called an estimated cash to close sheet. It'll tell you what your down payment is. It'll tell you what all your closing costs are. So that way you have a realistic expectation of what it's gonna cost you to get into that house. So we do that up front. We make sure all the information's correct. If it's something that's gonna be iffy, like right on the line or something, debt to income or something like that, we may do what's called a TBD approval where we can send it through underwriting. So that way all we need is an address and an appraisal. We do have that option. Most of the time we have a system that tells you, hey, this is where you are, this is what it is. So we can give you that pre-qualification letter when you go to make an offer on a house, which makes your offer way stronger than if you don't. Then once you do the contract with the realtors, they send it to us. We disclose it. We start ordering your appraisals and all that as they're going through the option period. We're ordering appraisals, surveys if they have to be ordered, and getting that through processing and underwriting. So that way, whenever the appraisal comes in, we go back through underwriting and we're ready to close. Then Becky here gets to look at all of our stuff and he gets to talk to our closer.
I have a question too. When some people move here from different areas, so when they do move here and say they switch jobs, is it 3 months? Is it 6 months?
It depends.
Before?
So here's the deal. If it's something that there's an explanation for it and there's not a huge gap, we can go with it.
Okay.
I mean, we have customers who are moving from out of town that are starting a brand new job when they move here.
Right.
They have an offer letter and all that. As long as there's not a huge gap, we can continue
okay.
that. Okay. Now, sometimes.
What do you mean with a huge gap?
So some people take off 6 months, or they got laid off, 8 months ago, and now they're going back to work.
Okay.
That is where we have to have a history again.
And there seems to be a problem too, though, with the COVID part when people got sick and was off for like a month or two. That seems to have created some problems.
Well, now here's the thing about that. You can actually write letters of explanations and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And that's where we'll help you say, okay, this is what we need, and we can explain everything. And one of the things we do is we make sure that if you're not ready to buy right now, we'll tell you how to get ready. So if you only have 4 months on the job and you don't have that history, then we can say, okay, in 2 months, then we'll be ready to go.
So 6 months is the.
If you don't have the gaps, we can go less than 6 months. And here's the thing, every loan is different. You never have one that's the same. There's all kinds of circumstances, but that's where letters of explanation and stuff like that come in. And so we help you with all that and say, hey, okay, what happened here, so we can explain it. The other thing is this credit. If your credit's not ready, we can help you. I'll help you get that up. We're here for the long haul. Again, you're going to see me 6 months down the road. I'm going to be in Market Street and see you.
The key for a lender is good communication. You need a lender that's going to be there for you, answer any questions that you have, and just not totally ignore you. Shane is really good with the communication part.
My cell phone.
And be honest.
Yes, and be honest.
Yeah,
Don't
I
beat
will
around
tell
the
you.
bush.
I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm going to say, hey, this is where we are. This is what we are. I'm not going to try to,
String you along.
Yeah, I'm going to be upfront with you and say, hey, this is where we are. This is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to. So after we go to the processing, so the other thing that Prime Lending has is we have processors in-house. Okay, a lot of other people have lenders or processors that are out of town. Ours are literally within 30 steps of me from my office. So if there's a problem, first thing they're doing is calling me. Hey,
It's better
come
to
see.
have a local than like grab one of those off of the internet, honestly, because sometimes you have that conflict of trying to get a hold of people, and it just makes it a mess.
We have a local office, and we have a team in our office that if you can't get a hold of me, they'll help you too. But the other thing, so the processors are in-house, so it goes through processing, and what we normally do is we send it through underwriting at least once before we ever get the appraisal. So that way when the appraisal comes in, all the conditions are fixed. So then we go back through underwriting and it's, okay, let's go. So then after underwriting, we send it to closing. That's when they balance with title, and that's when you get to sign and close.
Can you explain the appraisal more?
So the appraisal goes out and they look at it. Okay, so the appraiser, and we have a pen. So the way we do it is we have an appraisal desk. I can't call and say, hey, you know, some of our local appraisers are like Cliff Zant, Eric Golden, Justin Smith. I can't call Justin and say, hey, will you go look at this house for me and do an appraisal? That's against the rules, okay? So we have an appraisal desk that we have hired appraisers, licensed appraisers. They overlook that, and so we have panels, and we send it to that panel and let them pick it up. So they get to choose it. And so because we are local, a lot of times we can get appraisals picked up quicker. So they go out and appraise a house and tell you the value. The other thing they do is they look at like safety, structural, and all that. And so later, whenever we go through all the stuff, there's like a final inspection. And what that is if an appraiser sees something that's a safety issue, they're gonna call that on the appraisal. Okay, and so once I get the appraisal back, it tells me the value and all that. I call the customer and I call both realtors and say, hey, the appraisal came in. Hey, the appraisal came in low. Hey, there's these repairs were called. So that way everybody knows up front. And so their repairs are going to be different than what the home inspector is going to look at. All they're looking for is safety and structural. And a couple of other little things like hot water heaters don't have a pop-off valve the right way. So, but all that's kind of what they look at, and that's what your appraiser does, okay? And then the survey, obviously, if there's not an existing survey, they go out and survey the land and tell you exactly what you own. And Becky is great at explaining that. She draws straight lines and all.
What I like so.
Okay, let's see. And so most of the loans we do are your fixed rate loans because it doesn't change. There are ARMs, which is an adjustable rate that after so long the rate starts adjusting. That is an option. That's not really your first time home buyer. Your first time home buyer needs to be in a
No, because then they get shocked.
Yeah. And so the next few pages kind of ask you whether you should rent or own. And I'm going to use a Facebook post I seen the other day. I don't even remember who posted it, but they said the interest rate on rent is 100%.
Yeah.
Like, man. And I will tell y'all.
That's true when you think about it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So the interest rates are going up, but they're just normal. So whenever we had the 3s and the 2s and all that, that was kind of like Black Friday. It was here for a little bit, now it's gone, okay? And I can tell you, I bought my house 22 years ago. And when I did it, the going interest rate was 9%. That's what it was. And so 11 years ago, it was in the 11s. You know, just a few years ago, they were in the 7s and 8s. That's your normal interest rate. And we're in the 5s and 6s now. That's kind of where you are. And so don't freak out on that. It all makes sense, okay? And so a few of the things that are looked at whenever you're getting a loan is obviously credit. Your assets, what you have to put down in the bank. The other thing is debt to income, okay? The other thing about an FHA loan versus a conventional, yes, that will go. One of the things is you can have a higher debt to income ratio on an FHA loan over a conventional.
Oh, okay.
And so that's kind of where it comes in. A lot of times, you know, you have a customer who has great credit and all that, but we look at an FHA because of the debt to income.
Will you explain the debt to income ratio?
So what the debt to income ratio is like anything that's reported on your credit report, like credit cards, house, cars, all that, that's what goes into that. It's not your normal utilities like your cell phone, your electric, your water. None of that's included in it. It's literally what you're paying in debt, like your credit cards, car, house, child support is included in that. Alimony, anything like that you pay out, that goes into your debt to income.
And what's important about that, why is a good reason not to go buy a new truck or get a credit card when
Because
you're in
it
the
can
process
change
of doing
everything. It can kill a loan.
You can't get
immediately.
married, you can't get divorced.
Yeah, don't get married, don't get divorced. Don't go buy stuff. Don't go have your credit pulled. Because I can promise you, you know, in the old days, whenever somebody was doing a loan, right before the loan was done, we pulled a new credit report. Well, we don't have to do that no more. And here's the reason why. We have a thing in our system that if you go to Coins and apply, it sends us a notification. Hey, they looked at something. So then we have to call you. Hey, Your credit was pulled, did you buy something? And then you sign something with Becky that says you haven't added any new debt. So because that can throw everything out of whack for debt to income. So it's important just to don't go make any big purchases cash either, and don't make any huge deposits cash. We kind of go over that,
And that's why you can't get married, right? Because then their income and everything
Well,
comes.
so the thing is on an FHA loan, if you're married, we have to include your spouse's debt.
Right.
We don't have to include their credit, but we do have to include their debt. So
Only touch on that because I lost a deal because a couple went and got married in the process.
So for instance, if you're married and I'm using both of them, and she goes and applies for, or him in your case, he went and applied, then we'd have to add that. Or if you got married in the process, everything that he has to be involved in that debt goes against you now. Whether we include his credit or not, that debt has to. And so that's a big thing. You got to kind of watch out.
You can't even get married without checking with the lender first.
That's right. Don't have kids, because that's a new debt. But no, the marriage thing is a big deal. And so we do everything can be streamlined online. There's probably 90% of the time that I do a loan that I do not meet the customer in person until closing. I have an app online that you can apply through. Obviously, all my customers have my cell phone. They can call me on my cell phone. I can be contacted on my cell phone. But you can, when you apply online, anything you have, any documents, check stubs, bank statements, you can upload them right to our website, so it's secure, and then I get them from there. So it's literally everything can be streamlined right there online. You can always have questions, send messages through that back and forth. So it's really kind of a streamlined process. I know that was kind of a quick explanation. Do y'all have any questions? No? Okay. Who's introducing next?
Okay, thank you, Shane. Hi, I just want to take a moment to thank Shane for all the valuable information. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about the home buying process, feel free to give me a call. Thank you.